You've heard of Moses, the man who parted the Red Sea, led millions to freedom, and spoke face-to-face with God. But what if I told you there's a hidden chapter of his story, a forgotten moment so powerful it's quietly shaping the daily habits of billionaires, CEOs, and world changers today? This isn't about burning bushes or stone tablets. It's about a mysterious figure, a single conversation, and a leadership secret buried in the book of Numbers that most people skip right over. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll uncover a shocking truth that could transform how you lead, love, and live. Today, we're diving into the story of Eldad and Medad, two obscure men who sparked a bizarre event in the Israelite camp, a moment that stunned Moses and revealed a leadership principle so profound it's echoed in boardrooms and startups thousands of years later. What did these men do that was so revolutionary? Why did their actions threaten the very structure of Israel's leadership? And how does their story hold a secret that modern titans like Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey unknowingly tap into daily? This is a tale of rebellion, divine mystery, and a leadership hack that transcends time. So, grab a coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's unravel a biblical enigma that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about Moses and yourself. Let's dive in. To understand the story of Eldad and Medad, we need to set the scene. It's around 1446 BCE, and the Israelites are wandering in the Sinai desert after their exodus from Egypt. Picture this: millions of people, weary from years of slavery, now free but struggling to survive in a harsh, unforgiving wilderness. They're led by Moses, a man chosen by God but stretched to his limits. Numbers 11 paints a vivid picture. Let's read it together. The people complained in the hearing of the Lord about their misfortunes. Numbers 11:1, ESV. They're grumbling about food, leadership, and the endless desert. Moses is overwhelmed, crying out to God, "Why have you dealt ill with your servant? I am not able to carry all this people alone." Numbers 11:11-14. God hears Moses' plea and responds with a plan. He instructs Moses to gather 70 elders, respected leaders from the tribes, to share the burden of leadership. Numbers 11:16-17 says, "The Lord said to Moses, 'Gather for me 70 men of the elders of Israel, and I will take some of the spirit that is on you and put it on them.'" This is a divine delegation, a moment where God empowers others to lead alongside Moses. The elders gather at the tabernacle, and the Spirit of God descends, causing them to prophesy, a dramatic sign of divine authority. But here's where things get weird. Two men, Eldad and Medad, are listed among the 70 elders, but for reasons the Bible doesn't explain, they don't join the others at the tabernacle. Instead, they stay in the camp, away from the official ceremony. And yet, Numbers 11:26 tells us, the Spirit rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. These two guys, who didn't follow the plan, are suddenly prophesying, filled with God's Spirit, right in the middle of the camp? This is a scandal in the making. Let's pause for some context. In ancient Israel, prophecy was a big deal. It wasn't just preaching, it was a direct channel to God's will, often accompanied by ecstatic behavior. Scholars like Rabbi Jonathan Sacks note that prophecy was tightly controlled. Only certain people, like Moses or Samuel, were seen as legitimate prophets. For Eldad and Medad to prophesy outside the tabernacle, without Moses' direct oversight, was like two random employees holding a board meeting without the CEO's permission. It's chaotic, rebellious, and potentially dangerous. Archaeological evidence from the ancient Near East, like inscriptions from Mari, shows that unauthorized prophecy could destabilize leadership. In Israel's tightly knit community, where unity was survival, this was a crisis. Who were Eldad and Medad, anyway? The Bible doesn't give us much. Their names appear only here in Numbers 11. Some Jewish traditions, like the Targum, suggest they were relatives of Moses, possibly half-brothers from his father's side. Others, like the Midrash, say they were humble men, reluctant to join the elders because they felt unworthy. Whatever their background, their actions send shockwaves through the camp. Now, imagine the scene. The camp is buzzing with rumors. People are whispering, Eldad and Medad are prophesying. Right here, among us. A young man runs to Moses, breathless, and reports the news. Joshua, Moses' loyal deputy, steps in, alarmed. Numbers 11:28 says, Joshua the son of Nun said, "My lord Moses, stop them." Joshua's reaction makes sense. He's protecting Moses' authority, worried that this rogue prophecy could fracture the community. In a culture where leadership was sacred, Eldad and Medad's actions feel like a direct challenge. But Moses' response? It's nothing short of astonishing. Instead of shutting them down, he says, "Are you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit on them." Numbers 11:29. This is Moses at his most radical. He doesn't just tolerate Eldad and Medad, he celebrates them. He envisions a world where everyone, not just the elite, can connect directly with God. Let's unpack this historically. In the ancient world, leadership was hierarchical. Kings, priests, and prophets held power, and the masses followed. Moses' words flipped this model on its head. Scholars like Walter Brueggemann argue that this moment foreshadows later biblical themes, like Joel 2 verse 28, where God promises to pour out his Spirit on all people, young, old, male, female. Eldad and Medad's prophecy, and Moses' response, plant a seed for a more inclusive, Spirit-led community. But the story doesn't end there. The Bible moves on quickly, but Jewish and Christian traditions have long debated what happened next. Did Eldad and Medad continue prophesying? Were they punished or embraced? The text is silent, leaving us with a mystery that's both frustrating and tantalizing. What we do know is that their moment in the camp wasn't just a random event, it was a divine disruption, a spark that revealed something profound about Moses' leadership and God's plan. The pivotal moment in this story isn't the prophecy itself, it's Moses' response. When Joshua demands that Eldad and Medad be stopped, Moses could have asserted his authority, silenced the rebels, and restored order. Instead, he does something revolutionary. He decentralizes leadership. Would that all the Lord's people were prophets. Those words, recorded in Numbers 11:29, are a seismic shift in biblical history. They reveal a leadership secret that's both shocking and timeless. True leaders empower others, even when it risks their own control. Theologically, this moment is a glimpse of God's heart. The Spirit's descent on Eldad and Medad, outside the tabernacle, shows that God's power isn't confined to sacred spaces or official titles. As scholar N.T. Wright notes, this foreshadows the New Testament, where the Holy Spirit empowers all believers, Acts 2. Culturally, Moses' response challenges the rigid hierarchies of the ancient world. In a society where power was hoarded, Moses models a leadership that shares authority, trusting God to work through others. This moment also humanizes Moses. He's not a dictator, he's a weary leader who recognizes his limits. By embracing Eldad and Medad, he acknowledges that leadership isn't about control but about enabling others to shine. Jewish commentator Rashi suggests Moses saw their prophecy as a gift, not a threat, because it lightened his burden. This is leadership at its most selfless, a principle that resonates in modern psychology, where studies show that empowering teams boosts innovation and morale. But this wasn't just a feel-good moment. It was risky. Empowering others could have destabilized the camp, inviting more rebellion. Yet Moses trusts God's Spirit over his own control, setting a precedent that echoes through history. This is the forgotten secret. Leadership that empowers, rather than controls, unleashes divine potential. Now, here's where things get controversial. Some scholars, like those in the Jewish Midrash, speculate that Eldad and Medad's prophecy wasn't just spontaneous, it was a divine test. The theory: God intentionally gave them the Spirit outside the tabernacle to challenge Moses' leadership and reveal his character. If Moses had silenced them, he might have failed the test, prioritizing power over God's will. Instead, His response proved his humility, cementing his legacy as Israel's greatest leader. This idea sparks debate. Was God really testing Moses? Some theologians argue it's unlikely, citing Moses' unique relationship with God, Numbers 12:6-8. Others, like Rabbi Abraham Heschel, see it as a divine nudge toward inclusivity, showing that God's Spirit transcends human boundaries. The controversy lies in intent. Was this a deliberate challenge or a happy accident? Here's the surprising theory. Eldad and Medad's story is the biblical blueprint for modern, flat leadership models, where authority is shared and innovation comes from the edges. Think about it. Billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos thrive by empowering teams, not micromanaging. They create environments where bold ideas, like Eldad and Medad's prophecy, can emerge unexpectedly. This principle, rooted in Numbers 11, suggests that the most effective leaders today are those who, like Moses, trust others to lead alongside them. It's a shocking revelation. A 3,500-year-old story holds the key to cutting-edge leadership in 2025. The story of Eldad and Medad leaves a lasting legacy. First, it teaches empowerment. Moses shows that true leadership lifts others up, a lesson echoed in Jewish traditions like the concept of tikkun olam, repairing the world through collective action. Second, it highlights inclusivity. God's Spirit isn't limited to the elite, a truth celebrated in Christian teachings about the universal priesthood of believers. Third, it emphasizes trust. Moses' faith in God's plan over his own control models resilience for leaders today. Ethiopian Jewish traditions honor this story, seeing Eldad and Medad as symbols of divine surprises, moments when God works through the unexpected. Scholars like Walter Brueggemann call this a prophetic imagination, inspiring us to embrace bold, Spirit-led ideas. These lessons, empowerment, inclusivity, trust, aren't just ancient wisdom. They're practical tools for navigating today's divided, fast-paced world. Whether you're leading a team, a family, or your own life, this story challenges you to share authority, welcome outsiders, and trust the divine spark in others. In a world obsessed with control, whether it's social media clout, corporate power, or personal perfection, the story of Eldad and Medad is a wake-up call. It reminds us that leadership isn't about holding the spotlight, it's about lighting the way for others. Moses' forgotten secret, now used by billionaires and innovators, is simple yet profound. Empower those around you, and you'll unlock potential you never imagined. This story speaks to 2025, where cultural divides and workplace pressures demand leaders who trust, include, and inspire. So, here's my challenge. Reflect on your own life. Where can you share authority? Who's the Eldad or Medad in your world, waiting for a chance to shine? Let's learn from Moses and build communities where everyone's gifts are celebrated. If this story stirred something in you, drop a comment below. What biblical mystery should we explore next? Hit that subscribe button and join our journey through the Bible's hidden gems. Together, let's uncover the truths that change how we live, lead, and love. Until next time, keep seeking the divine spark in every story and in yourself.